Welcome back, everybody, to this week's question and answer section of our YouTube videos. Each Tuesday, we go over one of the most common questions that we hear about throughout the week, and we want to be able to do that so we can remove the obstacles that you might be having to develop a clear path to TOEFL success. And one of those obstacles that we have found is submitted by Faye, and she's one of many students that ask this particular question. So she says, slowly I am able to apply the techniques I learned. I didn't finish the entire program, but I see I have difficulty taking down notes. Now, note taking is a very intimidating process, so what you want to focus on first is being able to comprehend the lecture and the idea that we're going to be listening to. In the beginning of the lecture, we're going to hear the main idea about what it's about. We're also going to be hearing an opinion or a position about it. We're also going to be hearing an illustration about the definition that we just read. So if, for example, we're looking at the definition, we want to really understand what that definition means because it's going to be illustrated through the lecture. Once we understand and comprehend the ideas behind the definition, we're then more able to take down 80% of the notes that we hear, not 100%. We're going to be taking down subject, verb, object of those notes, and then that's going to directly connect with the main idea and topic that we're going to be connecting it to, that we just read or that we're listening about. So the best way to express fluency and comprehension is to first understand that topic and main idea, then understand the details that are related to it. Not all the details, but just the main ideas that we want to connect back to that particular topic and definition. And to make things easier, as I said, 80% of your notes, we want to list them one idea per line, and then you want to be able to write subject, verb, object so you can understand it more clearly, get a broader idea about what's being said, and then that's going to help you respond more effectively. You're going to be able to respond more fluently, and that's what's going to get you a really top score on these particular questions. So another question that I wanted to focus on here was submitted by Rodolfo. And Rodolfo here is asking about Cambridge preparation. There are a lot of TOEFL resources out there, and the one thing that we want to make sure is that you're not getting confused. And Rodolfo brings up a really great point. So he says, for example, in question 3, sometimes the student is divided about the change. I mean, he doesn't have a position about it. So what we want to focus on here is avoiding these types of questions. If you're going through NoteFull strategy and you see that you're not able to apply it to certain questions, it may be one of two things. Number one, it's inaccurate or wrong information, meaning that the source that you're getting the information from may not have the most precise idea about what the TOEFL is about. Or it could be just an extremely difficult type of question which doesn't exist on the TOEFL, possibly to challenge you, but also part of that group of inaccurate resource and comprehension and content regarding the actual TOEFL questions. So what we would recommend that you do is to be able to avoid it, because you don't want to practice something that won't be necessary for you on the TOEFL. Stay strong with the strategies that we have here at NoteFull. You'll be able to find the patterns within our tests, and that's going to create really strong habits. You don't want to be going through different sources and getting really confused and developing different habits for different types of questions and expecting something that might not ever show up on the actual TOEFL. So what we would recommend, as Rodolfo asks, do I have to worry about it, or would you suggest me just to ignore the questions? And we would suggest just to ignore these types of questions because they might not be as reliable as we would like to think, which is unfortunate, and it's sorry to say that, but I just want you to be aware of that you want to apply the strategies, really develop a strong foundation with them, because those habits are what's going to get you to the next level of success, and that's going to be the most important part. Next, I want to go over a particular TOEFL success story that I think that you'll really find inspiration from. So let's take a look at that one. So I want to talk about a particular student named Jinju. She wrote in saying that she got her score last month and received a 108 and couldn't do it without her program. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this particular story up is because I worked with Jinju very closely over the time that she studied. She received a lot of positive feedback, as she said here, through everybody from the team here at NoteFull. She said, you guys were always there for me, and that is worth more than I paid for, and that she couldn't have done it without us. Now, we want you to know that we really try to work hard with each and every student individually, but it's up to you to reach out and tell us what is wrong. Why aren't you getting the scores that you're not getting? What questions do you have? And one thing that Jinju did that I encourage all students to do is to write in telling us, I don't get this particular question in this particular section. Can you please help me? And what she did was tried to understand the basic strategies, why certain questions were right and why certain were wrong. And then you go through each answer choice in particular for the reading section, and then really try to understand the points in the speaking and the writing section to try to overcome your obstacles and points that are holding you back. And I think that Jinju is a really good representation of a lot of students. As she said here, she didn't have a lot of confidence and had a lot of negative thoughts, but was able to overcome it with a lot of hard work and independent study. But she also reached out, and that's something that I want you to do as well. I want you to take a look at this story and to feel confident and motivated and inspired to do the same. Please reach out to us. Please tell us what your struggles are and what questions in particular that you have. We're definitely going to be there for you and get back to you as soon as we can. So what I want you to do now is to study hard, to really try to overcome the obstacles that are blocking you from getting your score, to reach out to us and let us know about it, and to know that you're in good hands. We're definitely going to help you. We're there for you. You're not alone. And most of all, good luck.